So recently, Sawtooth Waves did a video where he talked about whether or not Discord, could have a human counterpart like the main 6, main 7 do. And that is a good question. The other questions he asked is, what kind of human counterpart would Discord have? Would he have, a counterpart that was a criminal mastermind? Or would he have a counterpart that was a magician or part of the teaching staff at Canterlot High? Just a bunch of questions that were pretty good to ask. And hopefully, maybe down the lines we might get an answer. Who knows? But it got me thinking, along with some pictures that George Gaza 1 on social media and at DeviantArt, and here on YouTube, had been uploading lately of Equestria Girl's Rarity, and basically what he feels would be the Equestria Girl's version of Spike in human form. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, Spike was portrayed as a dog, and basically when he followed Twilight in the first movie of Equestria Girls, and that the dog's his counterpart. That is indeed true. That is indeed true. But that crush, that affection he had for Rarity in Equestria itself, followed through when he met her human counterpart, and she found him kind of adorable and cute, that during, I think, the dance in Rainbow Rocks or whatever movie it was, to close that movie out, she basically took him as her date because she found him cute and adorable. But with that said, what if Spike, what if Spike this time was to go through the mirror, in one of those stories? What if Spike was to go through the mirror one more time, maybe with Twilight, to see how things are going, and instead of coming out as a dog, since we now see his dog counterpart there, that instead we get human Spike? What would the reaction be? How would the characters, even like, Twilight, react to seeing now not a dog version of Spike come through the portal, but a human Spike? How would they react? I would say pretty surprised, because that's not how his counterpart is in the human world. And that this here is something different. This is something new. And it would be intriguing to find out, like, how did Spike become a human? How did he, turn into a human instead of a dog? And the best solution I think that anybody in story could come up with when it would come to something like that is the fact that Spike, because he got his wings, evolved. He evolved from, basically a regular small baby dragon, young adult dragon, whatever you want to call him, to full-on grown-up dragon, but small in stature because he's not as greedy as a lot of dragons or mean as some dragons that would cause him to rapidly grow. And that his growth is going to be natural. So, with that said, you have to wonder if maybe him getting his wings, in season 8, basically would play a part in him, stepping through the mirror, if you will, and instead of coming out as a dog, he comes out as a human. You really have to think about that. And again, you have to really consider and wonder what the reactions of everybody would be, especially if you're Rarity, knowing that this is the same Spike that you encountered the first time as a dog, and now here he is as a grown-up human that's basically about your size, and he's about your age, and technically he's in the same grade as you when it comes to high school. How would you react? And George Gaza 1, he is a Sparity fan, Sparity supporter like I am and like a lot of the fans are. And he's pretty much painted a picture of, he sees them getting together. Like, he sees them going on dates, getting to know each other better, and then winding up together, or at least being in a romance, if you will. And it really makes you wonder if this would all be because if, like I said, Twilight was to take one more trip through the portal, maybe before graduation and everything, to see how Sunset's doing, see what she's preparing to do afterwards. And that with Spike following her, instead of him being a dog, this time he's a teenage human. You gotta wonder, exactly how that's going to, really be explained, if you will. Like how they're going to try to explain that away, if you will. And again, how the characters would react, mostly, Rarity herself. So overall, it's an interesting scenario to really think about because, again, like Sawtooth Waves points out, if Discord has a human counterpart in the Equestria Girls world, then what would that human counterpart be like, right? Or what would Discord look like if he went through the portal? What would he look like as a human? Would he look like what Sawtooth portrayed in his videos? Who knows? But then you have to wonder to yourself, okay, what would happen if Spike, now that he has his wings, and he's pretty much an adult, if you will, how would he look? Would he go back to being a dog, or would he now be a human? My bet would be on human, since, again, he's grown up, he's evolved. And the other question would be on top of that is how would Twilight react to seeing this, result of, him basically, becoming something that he originally wasn't the first time crossing over, and now he's, basically like she is, but as an adult. How would she react? How would the human version of Main 6, along with Sunset, react? And mostly, how would Rarity react? These are all good questions. But to me, I think these are questions that, honestly, if they really want to, go all out in closing up Equestria Girls for Generation 4, then the best solution is to try to answer questions like this. Like, does Discord have a human counterpart, or what would he look like going into the human world? And also, what would Spike look like if he was to follow Twilight into the human world to check up on Sunset, see how she's doing before, let's say, graduation, and instead of coming out as a dog, he comes out as a human boy or a human teenager, young man. And basically, it's to the shock of Twilight, and then of course later on the human version of the Main 7 or the Main 6, along with Sunset. To me, if they want to really, have it go out with a bang, these are things they need to answer. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you. Live chat during the premiere. I know I sound like I rambled a bit, repeated myself, but again, this is what happens when you do things uncut, uncensored, on the fly. You go unscripted, like somebody told me in the comment section, like the good old days of YouTube, just unscripted vlogging. But again, let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about it? How would you feel if Spike, along with Twilight, was to go through the portal again, one more time, come out as a human, that being Twilight, and in following her, instead of coming out as a dog, out comes Spike as a human himself, because his wings that he got in season 8, or midway through season 8, played an integral part in that. How would you feel about that? How do you think the characters on the other side will react? How do you think Rarity on the other side would react? What are your thoughts overall? Again, comment below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, check out the Teespring store, and I'm out.